Wait, are you gonna be eating that right as we do this?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's mac and cheese. That's okay.
Breakfast time.
Good morning, my dudes, and welcome to the first official podcast of the Fellowship of the Real. I hope from the title of the series that you're able to tell we're just a couple of nerds who love movies like you lads. My name is Peter Parker.
And I'm Luna Lovegood. We're going to be kicking off this podcast series by reviewing a very controversial topic, Frozen 2.
And there will be spoilers, and if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know how much sense this commentary/review will make. We're going to break it down, we're going to break the movie down and judge it based on categories like the movie, script, etc. But first, our overall thoughts.
So, as we see with the first Frozen, there is kind of a dichotomy of, like, the different sort of love relationships. Because you have, like, the family-sister relationship between Elsa and Anna, which is very strong, and Disney's really pushing that. Because they're, like, trying to move away from the idea that every girl needs a prince to save her and whatever. Because, like, we're kind of, they're getting away from that and trying to be like, you don't need that. You can, like, be your own hero.
I definitely think Disney has gotten a lot of backlash now, I think, for, like, princess movies. Obviously, the only, like, the outcome, the ending of most movies aside, like, have been, especially, like, the classic ones, have been, like, the princess getting married at the end, and, like, that's sort of her goal. And then, like, seeing things like Princess and the Frog having, like, she's got, like, a dream, and then with Frozen having it more focused on Anna and Elsa. And then, of course, Moana, where she doesn't even have a love interest, but that's a whole other podcast.
And Brave.
And Brave! I forgot that was Disney. Is that Disney?
It's Pixar, so it is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But there's kind of that dichotomy of the family love versus the romantic love. And you also kind of have some, like, friendship with Olaf being his goofball self and whatever. But in my personal opinion, the balance was a little bit off in this movie because, like I said, in the first one, they were trying to really emphasize, like, Elsa and Anna's sisterhood and, like, balance it with, like, Anna's romantic relationship with Kristoff, but it didn't feel like it was handled super great in this movie because it felt to me like they were pushing way too much on the sisterhood, so I kind of felt, like, sympathy and, like, secondhand awkwardness for Kristoff because he seems like a total third wheel sometimes.
Oh, yeah. No, I have so many points on that, like, that we'll get to. Oh man! But overall, do you think did you enjoy seeing the movie?
I really did.
Yeah. Okay. I liked. So I saw Frozen 2 3 times the week it came out. So I feel inclined to make a podcast about it. I saw it first with my friends. Like, we just, like, went, like, one day. I think it was, like, maybe, like, the day it came out, or, like, 2 days. We went to go see it. And then I took my little sister to go see it. She just turned 4. And that's, like, something I wanted to touch on. I felt like Frozen 2, I didn't know who the movie was for, because I felt like it wasn't for kids. And that's not to say, like, it was, like, inappropriate or anything, like, it wasn't at all, but I just felt like thematically it was really dark, and I'll get into it when we talk about just, like, when we break down, like, how they handled everything, but I just felt like the themes were really, really dark, especially, like, the theme of change. Like, that's the biggest theme, I think, is change in Frozen 2, and obviously that's, like, a really hard concept for kids to understand, and so I think kids do learn a lot from, like, film and watching things and seeing how characters handle things, but it just felt really dark. Just, like, a lot of the movie felt, and I know my little sister, it was hard for her to grasp, and yeah, she is, like, really, really young, but I just was, like, kind of confused on who the demographic was for, because, like, I think maybe, because is it for kids who are going to see a kids movie, or is it for people who've seen Frozen 2, or seen Frozen when it came out the first time? Like, I don't know. But I liked it overall. I think I liked it, and I think I liked it. Yeah. I thought the animation was gorgeous. Like, I loved, like, visually it was super duper pleasing. There was a lot of issues, I think, because a lot of people praised the animation, and then there was a lot of, like, backlash on it. Some people really didn't like it, and I'll get that into that later. Like, I think at the very least it was really pretty to watch. Like, just, like, visually gorgeous.
Yeah, while you were, like, talking about the darkness of the
Oh,
themes,
yeah.
I just had another thing, like, totally pop into my head that I'd kind of forgotten about until just now, because there was the whole, I don't want to, like, am I allowed to give spoilers?
Yeah, I said spoilers, yeah.
Okay, because when they're, like, in the forest and they see, like, the Arendelle soldiers who have been there for however many years, and the, like, Northuldra people, like, having their conflict, that was very, like, low-key political, because it's like, who's right and what are we, like, who are we supposed to be siding with in here? And, like, just, I don't know how that, like, goes with kids and whatever.
Yeah, no, the one thing that I really found was interesting, and maybe I should wait for when we get to, like, the plot of it, but I just want to, like, mention it now. The lack of, like, an actual antagonist or, like, a real bad guy. Because it was more like a discovery. Like, obviously, you go back in the past and you realize that, like, Anna and Elsa's grandfather was actually, like, this, like, crappy dude. But, like in Frozen, you at least have, like, Hans, who's becomes a bad guy at the end. But there wasn't really that in this. Like, there wasn't, like, a bad guy, and I thought that was just really interesting. I actually really liked it. But, okay, so let's just get onto the music, our first topic, and, like, of breaking down why this movie worked and why it didn't. So, arguably the most important thing in a Disney musical is the music and how catchy it is. So, you and I are both theater nerds.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously, we are both extremely qualified to talk about why music is good and why it isn't in a musical, obviously.
Oh, not me.
I'm just kidding. Being sarcastic there.
I barely qualify as a theater person.
Well, me too. But, you know. Okay, so thematically, I also felt like the music was darker, and that really helped push the theme. So, I think there was, with having, like, a sequel musical, that's always really hard. So I'm gonna... One of the reasons why it's hard is because, like, you can fall into you can, like, fall into two holes, I guess. One of them is you like, there was so much success with the first one, so you want to make music just like that. And then it's like, okay, I just feel like I'm watching the same musical again. Or they want to pull so far away from its predecessor and, like, be its own thing that it really feels like its own thing. And I think it falls more into the former category. But I still liked the music. I felt like I was watching a sequel to something rather than watching, like, a continued version of Frozen, I guess. But I did feel like that the song... So I mentioned before how, like, change is, like, kind of like a darker concept for kids. And there's a song called Some Things Never Change. I think that's the title of the song. I just know that's the chorus of the song. But what I loved about it was that it's ironic, because as Anna's singing about how, like, some things never change, like the love they have for each other and everything, but, like, everything around them is changing, and it's just like, I don't know, it was just, like, it's weird. It kind of, like, puts you off almost in, like, a weird way. Off is, I guess, is the wrong word. Do you know what I'm talking about, though? Like, I felt like I had, like, a weird feeling. I was like, oh, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be a little heavier. And I think that song, it's very reminiscent of For the First Time in Forever. I think because it takes place outside of the palace, and even though, like, in For the First Time in Forever, it's like midday, I would guess. Like, the sun is shining. It's spring or summer. And then for this song, it's fall. It's more like evening. And so, yeah.
But both of them are songs about change, even if, like,
That's
Some
true.
Things Never Change is trying to, like... Because it's not necessarily, like, denying change. It's just like, oh, things are changing, but these things are going to stay constant. Like, our family is going to stay strong, and we're still going to care about each other, even though the season's changing and we're getting older and blah, blah, blah.
No, I like that. I guess you're right. They both are about change. Now I feel like we're getting off topic, but it's fine. It's our podcast. We can do what we want. And but I was watching this one video on the differences between like Disney versus I think it was Pixar, and Disney always has like a theme of like things like the protagonist always wants things to change for the better, and we really see that in Frozen at like the first one, like in that song in The First Time in Forever, like she wants it to change, but she believes it's going to be good, like it'll be a good change, but Some Things Never Change is almost, despite the title, is almost apprehensive, I think, or at least you feel apprehensive about it. So I think that's interesting. I liked it. But I liked the music. I did. It's catchy. I think I have a decent number of the songs memorized by now. I really did like it.
Oh, yeah, I probably have most of them memorized, too, just because my sister will play them
Oh,
constantly.
yeah. Yeah. No, I really liked... I did like the music. I thought it was good. Obviously, so a lot of celebrities did covers of the music. And I think you know more about this than I do. But I do know that Panic at the Disco covered Into the Unknown, and it's a bop.
It's so good.
It's a bop. Yeah.
In my opinion, definitely just as good as the like movie version with Idina Menzel and company singing.
Yeah, no, man, it's good. Okay, so who else did covers?
Casey Musgraves did the cover of the Lullaby, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh, what is the name of this? But okay, while I look this up.
Yeah, and then Weezer did a cover of Lost in the Woods, which was Kristoff's song with the hilariously ridiculous 80s music video shots in the movie.
It's good. That scene, I'm going to get to that when we talk, but like that scene was probably the funniest part. Like I thought it was hysterical. And this music video that they did, who sang it again?
What, Weezer?
Yeah, Weezer. Oh my gosh, sorry. It was hysterical because it's like shot for shot how it is in the movie, and then they actually got Kristen Bell to be like Anna in it. I laughed so hard when I saw it. Yeah, it was good.
I have not watched this.
Oh, well, now you have to. It's shot for shot, exactly. Oh, All is Found.
That's what it was.
That's the lullaby.
I was like, North, River, I don't know. Not even close.
All is Found, yes, I remember. Very dramatic, yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, going on with Lost in the Woods, thank God that they gave Jonathan Groff a song this time. I thought it was hysterical that they cast him in Frozen and then, like, gave him, like, half a song.
Which isn't even exactly singing. It's more like...
I mean, Reindeers Are Better Than People is obviously the greatest thing to come out of Frozen, obviously.
Oh, of course.
But still, our boy deserved, I think, a little bit better. And they gave it to him this time with some, they gave him an 80s ballad, which if you're going to give anyone an 80s ballad in this cast, Jonathan Groff is the obvious answer. So good for Disney for doing something right. Okay, I think we've ranted about music long enough. So the script, oh man, here's where it gets heated. I was like disappointed with the script. A lot of it felt really awkward. I think it felt like so you touched on it being a little awkward between Anna and Kristoff, I think. And it really was. I felt like all of their interactions were sort of like played off as a joke to like adults of like being like, oh, like, look, he's trying so hard to propose to her and she's just like making up all these reasons. Like there's always like some like weird reason why like he doesn't have time to propose to her. And
or she's running off to be with Elsa, which like obviously is important, but...
It just was weird. It felt super weird. Like, the proposal really felt just like a device for, like, a joke. Mm-hmm. And I know that Kristen Bell has talked in an interview about how the fact that Kristoff is, like, being very vulnerable and he sings his entire song about how he's in love with a girl is super progressive for Disney because it's like, oh, like, look, they're showing a like a man being vulnerable in love. And I think that's good. I don't want to be like, no, men should not have feelings. Like, but it just felt weird because it felt like he was feeling all these things for like absolutely no reason. Like it's so weird to be like, they had chemistry in the first movie, like this is a kid's movie, but like they did, like there was like witty banter between them. You saw them like growing together. And in this, Kristoff was like, all right, I'm gonna marry her, and his entire character arc, if he doesn't even have one, it's just him like trying to propose to her, and it just felt super awkward and like lazy writing.
Again, much sympathy for my dude Kristoff.
Jonathan.
He needs a hug.
Yeah, my poor boy. Yeah, no, I really I just felt like a lot of it just felt like clunky. Like I'm trying to, it's been a minute since I've seen the movie, but I just remember feeling like, oh yeah, no, I remember this. Okay, my first thought, like all 3 times that I saw the movie, when Elsa sings like Into the Unknown, and it's great, and the audience is like sobbing because we're like, heck yeah, and then like dramatic stuff happens, right? And then Elsa just like automatically knows that it's like the like spirits of like the woods. And it's like, where did you find that out? And I think maybe we're supposed to know because our little like ice had like the little like fire and water signs, but like how did she know what I just felt weird. It was like, really, Disney couldn't even like play it off as like, I don't know, it was so weird. And one of the biggest things I have like against kids movies now is that it's like, it really feels like it's talking down to kids. Like, they're like, oh, well, kids will like anything, you know? And it's like, no, like, put effort into, like, the script of a kid's movie. Like, you don't have to just, like, play things off like they don't matter. I don't know. I was kind of annoyed by that.
Because then if kids watch the movies when they're older for, like, nostalgia, if it's terrible, then you're like, why did I like this? But if it's actually well written, it's like, oh, I can still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, like,
I also just think kids aren't idiots. Like, I mean, I love my 4-year-old sister. Obviously, that was going to, like, escape her. But, like, kids who are, like, 10, 12 seeing this movie, like, or 17, like us. But, like, you know, I don't know. It just was really lazy on Disney's part. I really disliked it. I know they tried to play off that whole thing of, like, at the beginning of, like, their dad explaining it. But it didn't make sense that Elsa knew what was up, and maybe it was like her intuition, because plot twist, spoiler alert, she is one of the little spirits, but it just was weird.
Maybe she's just lived in that she's been trapped in that castle for 20-some years, so maybe she's just spent enough time in the library to figure it out. Been like, listen, I read about it, I know when you accidentally sing a song, when you sing a Panic at the Disco song, like little ice will turn into like little signs, and then you'll anger the wood spirits. So yeah, she knew what was up. Okay, but also totally unrelated, but
yeah,
all the signs look too similar. I don't know which.
Dude, I didn't know which one was
what. The heck? Like,
and I think they were supposed to be like a little color, like it was like the warmer tone pink is the fire, or like the purpley one is the water, and I was like, okay,
not okay. I don't understand.
I did like the way they did the little woodland spirits, though. That was completely, this is not a script thing. I did like them, though. I thought they were cute.
Bruni the tiny lizard.
So
cute.
I love
him.
Absolute legend. The real
greatest character.
Best character. Greatest arc in the movie, I would argue.
Literal arcs with his little leaps.
Oh no. That's cute. I loved it. I did. Yeah. Okay, so Frozen, the first one, was, like, funny. I thought it was funny. There were some good moments that we were all quoting in, like, the whatever grade. How old were you when Frozen came out?
See, that was 6 years ago, so I was
6 years ago? Oh, my gosh.
I was 11, so that was 6th grade.
Dang. I was reading...
Well, 7 years ago now, but it was, like...
Yeah, when it came out.
It doesn't count.
I remember when Frozen, this is sort of off topic, but how I remember, like, how old I was when Frozen came out was I was in the middle of reading The Mark of Athena when it, by Rick Riordan. Like, that's what, I was, like, really invested in that series when Frozen came out, and I remember being like, this is a kid's movie, like, oh my gosh, but I was in 5th grade. Why was I reading Mark of Athena in 5th grade? Like, who let me do that? Okay, but, yeah, okay, anyway, so Frozen, the first one was funny, and we were all quoting it in the 5th and 6th grade. Like, even though it got, like, people claimed to, like, not like it, like, I think we all thought it was funny. Like, I don't know, I liked it. I thought the witty banter was just, like, it was good. But, and with Frozen 2, it's darker, so it was less of a comedy, but, like, it really took me off guard. I feel like I could count on one hand how many, like attempts Disney made at trying to make it funny. Like, one of them was the Samantha joke, which is probably the only joke that, like, actually landed and was funny.
That one was very good.
It was absolutely hysterical.
Iconic.
That was genuinely a funny moment. But I feel like, yeah, but it was weird, right? That there's only, like, I can only be like, yeah, that was a hysterical moment. And then the moments that, the entire song of Lost in the Woods, that's just, like, literally filmed like an 80s ballad music video, which, what kid is going to get that? But, kudos to them. I liked it. But it's weird, like, I don't know, like, for being a kid's movie to only have,
like, 2 iconic funny moments.
Yeah, because I really cannot think of another, like, funny moment. Well, okay, there was, like, subtle ones. Like, there was attempts. Like, Disney made attempts at being funny. Like, there's at one point where, like, the captain of the guard who had gotten, like, stuck in the woods. What is the woods even called? I don't know.
The Enchanted Forest, I think.
The Enchanted Forest. And he's stuck in there, and he asks Anna, like, about this, like, one woman who's still in the village, and he's like, is she single? And it's hysterical. It's so funny. But, like, what kid is gonna get that? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's this movie for? Like, I don't know. It was, but, yeah, okay. Are we done with the script? Or do you have any other, like, final thoughts?
I mean, just, like, I know we've talked a lot about, like, the script and the plot and everything, but just, like, one more little thing about it was, like, the pacing felt a little bit weird.
Yeah, and so we're kind of going into plot, so this works. That works. So, yeah, no, the pacing was definitely whack. Here, I'll let you talk about that.
Because, like, at the beginning, it felt like, it was building up, and then it was just suddenly, like, Elsa sings Into the Unknown, and then they're like, it's time for an adventure.
And, like, I love a good quest, like, not gonna lie.
Yes,
quests, good. But I don't mind that the pacing, or my own personal opinion, is that I didn't mind the weird pacing at the beginning. Like, I thought it was okay. It's a kid's movie of 2 hours, maybe less than, to, like, get the story going. Like, I get it. Sometimes you have to jump into a quest.
But, like, throughout, it still felt a little bit funky, because it felt like once we got to probably, like, the second half of the quest part, like, they've already been in the forest and they've met the native North Soldier people who live in there and whatever. Mm-hmm. But once they get to, like, I don't know, probably the second half of the quest, it feels like it's moving too fast a little bit. Like, it's just a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
Because Elsa just disappears and is like, I'm going to go to this magic island where the whatever the river is called.
Yeah.
Atahalin or whatever the river was called.
Kudos to you for remembering that. Like, I'm lost.
Remember tiny details.
Lost in the woods. Yeah, no. It was, there was, like, several moments of the plot that I was like, what are they doing? And I will get into more to this when we talk about the public's overall opinions, but I think that, like, there was just some, like, weird moments. Like, obviously Disney had to backtrack the plot of the first movie to, like, make a sequel. And I was kind of, okay, so I was talking to somebody about this a while ago on how, like, like, Frozen, the first one, has, like, a happy ending, or at least we thought it did. But if you go back and watch it now, it's, like, not a happy, it's not like a bad ending, but it's like, oh, well, you know that, like, Elsa isn't satisfied as queen, and it's weird, and it's sort of like a temporary ending. So, like,
she's living, like, 6 years in distress.
Yeah, it just was like, it's weird. It just adds a whole nother meaning to the first movie. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I know Disney tried, or at least I'm assuming, I've seen a lot of posts, I guess, about people being like, oh, Disney is trying to, like, make a statement about the treatment of Native Americans, and it's coming up on Thanksgiving, and so, like, that was sort of like a goal. I don't know if that's a goal, allegedly, I'm assuming.
Well, I know I had read somewhere, not like a whole article or anything, I just think I read probably some post on Pinterest.
Yeah.
I spend far too much time on there,
mm-hmm.
but I think I read that they specifically were, like, talking with, like, Native Americans to make sure that they portrayed the indigenous people like in a positive way and didn't make them follow like the terrible stereotypes that have existed since like America was colonized.
Like, and so for that, I would have to say you get half a point, Disney. Because, like, if you okay, I don't want to be, like, really angry, and I'm just, like, a little white kid, so I feel like I can't say that, but it was, like, why not give an entire, like, own movie to that idea, I guess? Like, why does it have to be, like, a movie where, like, the leads are two little pasty white girls, like you and me? But, and that's another thing that I thought was, like, super weird, the fact that their mom was, like, supposedly an indigenous woman, but she was, like, you know, like as white as printer paper, and so we're on an Elsa. It was just a little like off, and I know that people had some issues with that, but
yeah, I noticed that when I was watching the movie, and I was like, I have questions, but like, okay.
Yeah, no, I was like, okay, I guess, like, I'm not gonna like, I don't want to like, I don't know. It was a little Akko Taco, if we're going to be honest.
Also, to very slightly backtrack for one quick comment, please give me a whole movie about Honey Marin and Ryder, because I love
legends.
them.
Absolute legends. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I got to say, Ryder was also hysterical. I liked him.
Yes, he was really funny.
I vibed like really hard. That was good. That was a good moment. No, they were good. Yeah, but they were, like, not in the movie at all. So, like, okay. But, yeah, no, I know. It was just weird. And let's talk about all the dark things that happened, because I feel like we've both vaguely been like, well, it's darker than the others. And I just, one scene in particular was them finding the ship that their parents died on, and then, like, conjuring the memory of how they died.
I totally forgot about that.
I remember when I watched it, not the first time, but when I watched it with my sister and my dad leans over to me, and he was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, for kiddos, that's weird. I mean, yeah, I don't know. So that way it was just dark. And then the entire scene, I loved this scene. Like, I'm gonna stay by saying this, like, I loved it. I thought it was, like, awesome, but it was so dark. The scene where she, like, tames the water spirit horse thing, and it's, like, actively trying to kill her, like, drown her. Like, it's not even, like, a hint. It's not even like, oh, like, look, it's, like, playing with her, or he looks like he's being mean. Like, he's, like, straight up trying to kill Elsa, and it's dark. You
can't do that.
It freaked me out. Like, I mean, like, I loved it, like, obviously, but I'm 17 years old. Like, obviously, I'm able to, like, watch that and not, like, be traumatized and, like, enjoy it. But I know my little sister was genuinely, like, freaked out. And it was just dark. It was a dark scene, very cool outcome, but yeah, it was a moment,
Yeah, I definitely didn't even, like, consider that, like, until you just said it. I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, no, I wasn't, I guess I sort of, like, felt the darker tone. I mean, like, just the animation, it's never, like, day until the end, like, for, spoiler alert, honest, like, coronation. I almost said, like, coronation, because that's what she says in the first movie. But, and like, so it's always, like, dusk or morning or night. And I think that in a kids movie especially really helps. I feel like I sound like an English teacher. I'm like, there's fog, but
it gives that symbolistic spooky vibe.
Yeah, no, I like it. It helps drive that the theme home of, like, that this is darker, that this is not the first movie where, there's, like, a funny talking snowman, even though there still is a funny talking snowman. Oh, that's another thing. Olaf dies, like, on camera. Well, on camera, that's funny. But you know what I'm saying? Like, on screen, he, like, straight up dies. And
because Elsa is, like...
Because Elsa's, like, dying. Yeah. That was just... It was scary. And, like, they bring him back to life. But I remember my sister had to go to the bathroom during that scene. And my dad was like, thank God. But, like, she comes back. And, like, in the... this is, like, the scene, like, right after he's, like, died, quote unquote. And Anna's, like, crying. And my sister comes in and, like, loudly exclaims, "Where'd Olaf go?" and the whole theater just went, oh. Like, it was just there was just some choices Disney made that I'm gonna keep saying, who did they make this movie for? Like, what was the age group for this movie?
Okay, I know you mentioned, like, Honest Coronation earlier, so I just wanted to make a quick comment
Okay.
about, like, the costumes that they animated for this movie were gorgeous.
Yeah, they were great.
Like, Anna's coronation dress, exquisite.
It was good.
Like, all of their other dresses, amazing.
Yeah, no,
I
that was
really
definitely
did enjoy those.
a highlight. I think one of my biggest pet peeves, even as like a kid, I think I was always like, why are they staying in the same outfit? And in Frozen, they change like Scooby-Doo. And they change a little bit in the first one. But like, I loved the variety in the costumes and how and just like the symbolism of like, I know that like people have pointed this out, and I'm not like new for pointing it out, but I'm just gonna reinforce it, I guess. People have talked about the symbolism of Elsa's hair, like in the first movie at the beginning, like it's in a bun and it's tight, and then she lets it down and it's like this like kind of like loose braid, and then in the sequel it starts in that loose braid and then she puts it in a ponytail and then it's like all the way down, and it's when she's at her freest, and I thought that was good. I liked it. Oh, also talking about the plot, this is controversial because we'll get into public's opinions, but I liked that Elsa had, like, she got to, like, discover herself. I liked that song. I thought that was a good plot point. Yeah. I know a lot of people didn't like that. And we can get into, public's opinions. A lot of people didn't like that. Well, not a lot of people, but, like, a small group of people who really wanted Elsa to be the first Disney princess / queen to have a girlfriend rather than a male love interest. And in this, she doesn't have a love interest at all. And that was, some people really loved that, and other people were mad and thought Disney was just like sort of like chickening out, I guess. Again, a lot of people thought it was like super whitewashed. Like, the main cast was whitewashed when it was supposed to be a movie, like, that was, like, don't whitewash things. Like,
establishing that they're part, like, Native, I don't want to say Native American, because they're not in America.
Yeah, but, like a Native people. North Pole Trap, or whatever they're called. Just the idea of that Disney was, like, lazy in making a sequel rather than, like, taking the time to, like, make a new movie, maybe try out new animation skills rather than just, like, heightening what they had before. I definitely think it's lazy to make a sequel, but even though I liked Frozen 2,
They're saving a lot of the new, like, shorts and movies for Disney Plus only.
Oh, I thought that was so...
I'm not bitter.
My dad has Disney Plus, so like I can't weigh in, but
our Wi-Fi is too slow at my house to have Disney Plus. So yeah, I don't have fair. Disney Plus or Netflix or anything.
No Baby Yoda for you.
No Baby Yoda for me.
I like Baby Yoda.
I love Baby Yoda.
It took me a while.
I've never been able to watch him in action.
Oh yeah, no, it's good though. You can just look at the
memes.
The memes, yeah.
Buy myself a Baby Yoda t-shirt anyway.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so just to end this, I thought Frozen 2, despite its flaws, was like a good movie, but like I enjoyed watching it. I don't know if it was a good movie, but I enjoyed watching it. I thought the music was nice. I thought the animation was good, even though it was something we'd already seen before. Like, I thought the colors were gorgeous. It was just pretty to watch.
Yes, I would fully agree with that.
Mm-hmm. But I would plead with Disney, please don't make a sequel. Please stop making movies after other movies that you've made. Like, try something new. Shake it up a little bit. Maybe don't make the biracial characters completely white, I guess. I don't know. Just some thoughts. And thank you for tuning in to this podcast. We hope to see you, or hope you listen in next time. It'd be weird if we could see you. But anyway, this has been fun. Signing off, Peter Parker.
And Luna Lovegood.